We will be going over the terms and concepts or vocabularies associated with Google Sheets. So we will talk about cell. When we say a cell simply stands for the basic unit in a Google Sheet where data is entered. It's similar to spreadsheets intersection of row and column. So a cell, a typical example of a cell is what I've just clicked, or anywhere, any particular box is what is termed as a cell. And then we move on to row. A row simply stands for a horizontal series in a Google Sheet identified by numbers, represents a set of related data. So it says a horizontal series of cells in a Google Sheet. So a horizontal series, meaning the combination of all this is what we term as a row, what I've just highlighted. So these are rows and they are identified by numbers. What about a column? When we say column, what does that mean? It's just the opposite of row. It's a vertical series of cells in Google Sheets, and that one is identified by letters, and it organizes data into categories. So identified by letters, arranged vertically, so a series of vertical cells is what we term as columns. So these are individual columns, as we've seen. And then a formula, what do we term as a formula? It's a mathematical expression of function used for calculations in a cell, and it can perform operations on data from other cells. We'll be treating formula proper in the subsequent videos. So equal to sum, as you can see the sum here, of this cell or a range of cells, and then we just hit enter, and we've seen that we have our simple addition here. So a sum of all of this is 7. So this is how a formula is used. What about a function? A function is a built-in operation or calculations that can be applied to cells or ranges in a Google Sheet. So we have examples of functions, and these include sum, average, concatenate. There are a whole lot, maximum, minimum. They are already inbuilt, that helps in calculations, or that are used for inputting formulas. And what's a sheet? As you know, it's a single tab or page within a Google Sheets document. It contains a grid of cells organized into rows and columns. As we can see here, all of this is a sheet, a grouping of rows and columns. And then we talk about a range. A range simply is a group of cells in a specified area of a Google Sheet. It's identified by cell references such as A1, B10. So a range is actually a group of cells in a specific area, right? And let's see how that looks like. So we can say this is a range ranging from here to here. This can be a range. So a selection of more than one cell is a range. All right. And then filter is actually a tool that helps to or allows you to display only specific data based on certain criteria. It also hides rules that don't meet specified conditions. For example, we want to see salaries or base pays that are above $90 or $100. That's where we use the filter. So an example is this, how we create a filter. You see the filter here, we click on it, and we can filter for anything. I mean, anything. That's maybe we don't need this, we want this, anything. And then when we click on it, you see it will hide all that we don't want to see and then show or display what we want to see. So that's basically what filter does. It hides rows that don't meet specific conditions. And sorting is simply arranging data in a specific order. It could be based on a chosen column, and it can be in ascending order or descending order. That's how sorting is done. That's what sorting means. So we can choose to sort this column. We go to data, we sort sheets. We can sort by sheet, we can sort by range, by column, whatever, in any way we want to do that. So we see this sorted in ascending order from 70, 73, 84, 86, any way we want to do that. Because I selected the column heading, it also added that, but it's not supposed to be so. So that's what sorting simply means. And then a chart, when we say chart in Google Sheets, is a visual representation of data using graphs or charts, and it's created from the information in a Google Sheet. So we will come back to that properly later. And conditional formatting, this can include color coding cells based on their values, and it's simply formatting rules applied to cells based on specified conditions. We might want to see all pays that are above $100 or below $100 in red color. So we can take this one, for instance, formats, go to conditional formatting, and then if cell is, there are so many types of formatting. If the cell is empty, we can decide what to do with it. If it's not empty, if it contains something, wherever we want it to be, you can format based on date, time, greater than. So let's say greater than, and greater than what? Greater than let's say 50. If it's greater than 50, automatically the color set here is green. We can change it to orange, and then all payments that are above 50 will turn this automatically, or let's say 100. Now we see how this conditional formatting is done. We click on OK, and then that's conditional formatting for you. Merge cells. When we talk about merge cells, it's a combination of two or more adjacent cells into a single larger cell in Google Sheets. So let's say we want to merge executive and percentage. We want to have, we want to have a single column heading for them. We can click here, hold Control, click here, and then this is the merge symbol. You can click on it and merge all, or merge horizontally. You can click on merge all. It will show you a heads up or a caution. Now we've seen that this has become one, and that's how merging is done. Freeze panes. When you hear about freeze panes, it's locking rows or columns in place to keep them visible while scrolling through a large data set. So a typical example of that is, let's say, normally for column headers, you right click on this, and then we come to view more row actions and freeze up to row 1. So we freeze this, and no matter how we scroll, the column header still remains intact for visibility. All right, good. So that's what freezing, and we can unfreeze that by applying the same method. And we can freeze columns too as well. Just right click on it, come to the ladder down, and then freeze up to column A. And no matter where we go, column A is intact. And then we unfreeze it by doing the same thing. Then we have Google App Script. It's a scripting language for automating tasks and extending functionality of Google Sheets through custom scripts. So we will be going into that a little later. And then that brings us to the end of our Google Basics. Thank you guys very much, and see you on our next session.